Is Saturday, 1st of February 2025. This day is famous for Indian Coast Guard Day. Indian Coast Guard Day, 1st February, Indian Coast Guard Day marks the day on which the Indian Coast Guard was officially established, actually in 1977. Internationally, February 1st, primarily known as the day when many countries present their annual budget, particularly in India, where it is referred to as Union Budget Day, and is considered a significant economic event marking the start of new fiscal year. Key point is that the budget day in many nations, including India, the national budget is presented on February 1st. Now, starting the newspaper with the world news, including Pentagon or to deploy 1,000 more troops to support Trump's immigration crackdown. 6 abort plane that crashed in the Philadelphia, causing massive fire. Italy court again blocks migrant detentions in the Albania, blowing Meloni's plan. What is the NTSB, the agency leading the investigation into the DC plane crash? Chinese firm faces backlash for taking and sharing photos of workers in the toilets. United States President Donald Trump will impose tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China from the Saturday, White House says. Now, starting the newspaper analysis with the newspaper The Hindu states that hope is running high of tax cut as Nirmala Sitharaman presents record 8th budget. Union Finance Minister Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman gives final touch to the Union Budget 2025-26 at her office in the North Block in New Delhi. The budget for the fiscal year starting April 1st is expected to contain measures to shore up weakening economic growth while being physically prudent. A cut to or tweak in income tax rates slabs to ease the burden of the middle class struggling with the high prices and stagnant wage growth is widely expected to Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman record as setting 8th consecutive budget. The budget for the fiscal year starting April 1st is expected to contain measures to shore up weakening economic growth while being fiscally prudent. It is likely to focus on steps to boost consumption while sticking to the roadmap of narrowing the fiscal deficit. Union Budget 2025 updates. Analysts and experts expect some tax rationalization, export push, better implementation of the capital spending plans, and clear roadmap on structural reforms. They also see some expansion in the production-linked incentives and increased allocation to some welfare schemes, while continuing focus on infrastructure creation upgrade. Also, tariff cuts to encourage local manufacturing are expected. Increased allocations to boost job creation and sickles lower customs duties and or intermediaries, and increase in agriculture investments are also high on the list of expectations. Measures for accelerating domestic demand and private consumption are also expected. Increased allocations to boost job creation and sickles lower customs duties and intermediaries, and increase in the agriculture investment are also high on the list of expectations. Measures for the accelerating domestic demand and private consumption are also expected. They are all agree on one thing: the government will continue to the path of fiscal consolidation with a projected fiscal deficit of 4.5% of GDP for the financial year 2026. April month 2025 to March 2026 against 4.8% in the current fiscal ending March 31st. Rumki Majumdar, economist Deloitte India, said the first quarter data points to a notable increase in the private consumption and a modest improvement in investment activity. We expect these two to be in the fundamental growth pillars as a global uncertainties weigh on net exports. With the conclusion of the Indian elections, we anticipate that government spending will pick up, supporting growth in the coming quarters of the financial year 2025. She said, adding the government is likely to continue to prioritize and enhance efforts towards the skill development and employment generation. Also, the focus may be on the long-term solutions aimed at strengthening the agricultural value chain. Incentivizing production and addressing structural supply side issues that add to the delivery cost to address sticky inflation. Finance Minister takes part in the customary halwa ceremony, marks the final stage of the budget preparation. Following the United States election, the risk of volatility in the global trade has increased, with the potential measures such as higher import tariffs and tax cuts to promote manufacturing in the United States, she said, adding that government may look to implement a range of measures to enhance the competitiveness of Indian products on the global stage. These may include tariff rationalization, duty exemptions, and remission schemes, which would help lower the cost of the Indian exports. Additionally, the government is likely to focus on simplifying export compliance procedures to reduce barriers and enhance exporters' efficiency. Union Budget 2025 facts related to the budget as the Finance Minister Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman aims to make a history with the 8th consecutive presentation. We expected the central government to prioritize the macro stability by sticking with the fiscal consolidation path and steer clear of populist measures, Radhika Rao, senior economist at DBS, said. This will help keep additional spending and incremental inflationary impact in the check. Instead, moves might include fine-tuning existing measures and focus on medium-term demand boost. Now go ahead, Myanmar Junta extended the state of the emergency by 6 months. In this image provided by the Myanmar military True News Information Team, Myanmar's military leader, Senior General Min Aung Hlaing, a center speaks during a meeting with the members of the National Defense and Security Council Friday, January 31st, 2025 in the Nayapyi-Tao, Myanmar. The military is struggling to contain armed resistance to its rule, suffering a series of damaging battlefield losses over the past year to an alliance of the ethnic minority armed groups in the north and west of the country. Myanmar's junta extended a state of emergency by 6 months on the Friday, January 31st, 2025, 4 years after it seized power, triggering a civil war that has claimed thousands of lives. The country is mired in a bloody, multi-sided conflict stemming from the February 1st, 2021 that ended a 10-year experiment with the democracy. Rwanda-backed M23 advances in the DRC as volunteers rally to fight back. Members of the M23 rebel group gathered to supervise the Congolese potential recruits for the M23 rebel group before being taken to the training centers run by M23 rebels amid clashes between the M23 rebels and the armed forces of the Democratic Republic of the Congo (FARDC) in the Goma, North Kivu province in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, January 30, 2025. The group captured most of Goma, the capital of the North Kivu province, earlier this week and has vowed to march all the way to the capital, Kinshasa. The Rwandan-backed armored group M23 moved south. It has closed down on a key military airport in DR Congo, with queues of young men volunteering to defend the provisional capital on Friday. The group captured most Goma, the capital of the North Kivu province, earlier this week and has vowed to march all the way to the capital, Kinshasa. Now going towards the Hindustan Times newspaper states that Prime Minister Modi hints at special provisions for poor middle classes in the budget. Prime Minister Narendra Modi. PM Narendra Modi on a Friday hinted at the possibility of a generous budget for the poor and middle classes, evoking the Hindu goddess of wealth. Modi said he was praying that the Lakshmi be especially generous towards the poor and the middle classes. To be sure, he also spoke about the need for the providence and achievements. Private entities can now use the Aadhaar authentication. The union government has amended the Aadhaar rules to allow the private entities to use Aadhaar authentication for delivering their services. The Ministry of Electronics and IT (MeitY) said in a statement on Friday, adding the amendments seek to promote ease of the living to the residents and enable better access to the service to them. The ministry on Friday notified Aadhaar authentication for goods covered under Social Welfare Innovation Knowledge Amendment Rules 2025, amending the 2020 rules. The amendment enables both the government and non-government entities to avail other authentication service will help both the services providers as well as the service seekers to have trusted transactions, the statement said. One Nation, One Election panel set to visit all the states meet parties. Election Commission of India, the JPC, led by the Bharatiya Janata Party lawmaker PP Chaudhary, will invite suggestions from the Union Home Ministers, Union Home Secretary, Chief Secretaries of states, and all registered political parties on the bills that aim to roll out simultaneously polls, an ambitious agenda of the Narendra Modi government. The Joint Parliamentary Committee (JPC) are scrutinizing two bills aimed at ushering in simultaneous state and national elections. Has decided to visit all states, meet the political parties, the Election Commission of the India, former judges, parliamentary forces, and a slew of stakeholders to review the proposal. People aware of the matter said on the Friday. The JPC, led by the Bharatiya Janata Party lawmaker PP Chaudhary, will invite suggestions from the Union Home Secretary, Chief Secretaries of the state, and all registered political parties on bills that aim to roll out a simultaneous polls, an ambitious agenda of the Narendra Modi government. The two bills include a constitutional amendment and a bill to roll out simultaneous polls in the union territories. The centre hopes that simultaneous polls will reduce costs, ensure stability and predictability in governance by the minimizing disruption and policy parallelism, and also increase voter participation and opposition. The opposition says it is an unconstitutional move that will damage the federalism. Now, going towards the economy of the country from the budget point of view, income tax slabs and rates. Budget 2025 live updates. Will middle class get tax relief from Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in the Union Budget today? Budget 2025 income tax slabs and rates for financial year 2025-26 live updates. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will present the Union Budget 2025-26 today in the Parliament at 11 a.m. That must be at this time done. Income tax slabs rates for financial year 2025-26 live Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman to present the Union Budget in 2025 in the Parliament today. Budget 2025 live updates. All eyes on the tax rates as Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman once again is set to present her Modi 3.0 first full year budget. Budget 2025 India Union Government 2025-26 Nirmala Sitharaman live updates. The Economic Survey 2024-2025 has backed up India's GDP growth for financial year 2026 at 6.3 to 6.8, emphasizing domestic growth over exports. Budget 2025 live updates. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman giving a final touch to the Union Budget 2025. Budget 2025 India live updates. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will be presenting her 8th consecutive budget today, February 1st at 11 a.m. That had been already done with a cut-off tweak in income tax rates slabs to ease the burden of the middle class on the cards. This is also the Narendra Modi government's first full-year budget in the third term and is being presented against the backdrop of the geopolitical uncertainties and slowing of the economic growth rate to the 4-year low. What are the expectations of this year is actually the Union Budget 2025 is expected to focus on boosting India's manufacturing sector under the Viksit Bharat goal. The budget is also expected to focus on easing the middle class tax burden, boosting consumption, and maintaining fiscal prudence. There is a strong push for investment in manufacturing, infrastructure, and job creation, custom duty reforms, skill development, and agricultural value chain enhancements are also likely. What has the Economic Survey said about the growth is that the Economic Survey 2024-25 projected India's GDP growth of our financial year 2026 at 6.3 to 6.8%, emphasizing domestic growth over the exports. Achieving Viksit Bharat by 2047 requires 8% annual growth at 35% investment rate and expansion in manufacturing, artificial intelligence, robotics, and biotechnology. Fiscal prudence, monetary policy easing, and deregulation as mantras for Viksit Bharat. The survey also points out the risk of increasing our current account deficit and exhorts to us to make a FDI more attractive, with an emphasis on the tax certainty for investors through advanced pricing agreements. Economic Survey 2024-2025, presented about the 6 months after the previous survey, provides updates on the economic front, reflecting the pace of the change in the world economy over such a short period. On the growth from front, the survey states that to achieve our ambition of Viksit Bharat by 2047, the GDP needs to be grow annually at 8% in the real term over the next decade. Wages settle below pre-pandemic level, while corporate profits soared to 15-year high in the financial year 2024. Among the salaried real average monthly wage for male workers in 2023-24 was rupees 11,858, down by 6.4% from rupees 12,665 in the 2017-18. For female workers, real wages fell more sharply by 12.5% to rupees 8,555 from rupees 10,116 in 2017 and 18. Nominal average wages for self-employed male workers grew by 24% to rupees 16,007, whereas for the self-employed female workers it dropped by 7.4% as rupees 5,497 from 5,935. Now going to the science and tech, we had 2 more suspected deaths due to the GBS recorded in Maharashtra. The fatalities due to the suspected Guillain-Barré syndrome (GBS) in Maharashtra increased to 4. The fatalities due to the suspected Guillain-Barré syndrome (GBS) in Maharashtra increased to 4 on Friday, with a total of 140 patients diagnosed with the medical condition. Among the suspected patients, 98 are diagnosed as confirmed GBS cases, within the 18 on ventilator support. However, the Public Health Department said the newly detected patients are being counted together from the previous days. The number have risen in the other districts from 9 to 11. Of the total cases, 26 patients were detected in the Pune Municipal Corporation (PMC). 78 are from newly added villages in the PMC area. 15 are from Pimrapri Chinchwad Municipal Corporation (PCMC), and 10 are from Pune Rural. After the adults in the 20 to 29 age bracket, children in the age group of 0 to 9 are most affected. The data of the Integrated Disease Surveillance Program (IDSP) recorded 22 patients in the 0 to 9 age bracket, while 32 patients were diagnosed in the 20 to 29 grouping. In the 10 to 19 age bracket, it is 20 patients. 30 to 39 are the 16 patients, and 40 to 49 are 13 patients, whereas 50 to 59 are 22 patients, 60 to 69 are 14 patients, and 1 is 80 to 89 age group. Warm February cold could hurt wheat, fruit, vegetables, says Indian Meteorological Department. Temperatures in the North India in February will likely harm the standing wheat crop as well as the fruits and vegetables. Below the normal rainfall over the plains of the northwest India will have a significant adverse impact on the yield, says Indian Meteorological Department chief. Temperatures in the North India are likely to be warmer than normal in the February month, along with the below normal rainfall. This will likely harm the standing wheat crop as well as the fruits and vegetables. The head of the Indian Meteorological Department said on Friday, below normal rainfall along with the high temperature over the plains of the northwest India would have significant adverse impact on the standing crops like wheat as flowering and grain filling stages. Indian Meteorological Department Director General M. Mohapatra said at the monthly weather briefing, crops likely mustard and chickpea may also experience early maturity. Horticulture crops are like apple and other temperatures. Stone fruits may experience a premature bud break and early flowering due to the warmer temperature, resulting in poor fruit setting and quality, which may ultimately reflect in poor yield, he said. Saffron red-tail damselfly, endemic to Western Ghats, spotted for the first time in the Karnataka in the Madugundi of Chikamagaluru. The saffron red-tail were found in the forests along the Netharavati river in the Madugundi village in Chikamagaluru district. The saffron red-tail. 2 naturalists have spotted the saffron red-tail, a rare species of a damselfly endemic to the Western Ghats of India, for the first time in Karnataka. They found the damselflies referred to as the Indosticata Decanacensis. In the forest along the Netravati river in the Madhugundi village near Sankaswale in Chikmagaluru district last year. Earlier, the were noticed in the Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Tejas Mehanade and Ajit Padilla spotted 5 individuals of the species during the regular research work near a stream. They photographed them and also published a research paper in the Quarterly Journal Entomon. According to the research paper, this was the first record of the species in the northernmost part of the Western Ghats. Tiger population in India increased by 30% over the past 2 decades. NCBS study. The study says that India has achieved a significant success in conserving wildlife, even as the global wildlife population have declined. Protected areas are devoid of the humans through land sparing have allowed sustenance of 85% of the breeding population. A new study has found that the tiger population in India has increased by 30% over the past 2 decades. The study, which has been published in the Science, was led by the senior scientist Yadvendra Jhala and colleagues. It has explored the socio-ecological factors that have enabled tiger recovery and persistence despite high human densities and economic challenges amid the rapid urbanization. Meticulous balance. They have found that the tiger population in India has increased by 30% over the past 2 decades. This demonstrates the remarkable success achieved through the meticulous balance of scientific strategies and a strategic plan of land sharing and land sparing, the National Center for the Biological Science (NCBS) said. It further added that despite harboring the highest human population residing in economically diverse regions, India has achieved a significant success in conserving wildlife, even as the global wildlife populations have declined by 73%. Protected areas devoid of humans through the land sparing have allowed sustenance of 85% of the breeding population. These sources populations facilitated through their corridors and sustainable land use practices have enabled tigers to disperse and expand into the multi-use forests. Tigers now coexist with over 66 million people, proving a coexistence possible, said Mr. Jhala. Future direction. On challenging and future directions, the scientists also have key recommendations, which include expanding protected areas and habitat corridors, strengthening anti-poaching measures, promoting sustainable livelihoods for communities living near the tiger habitats, enhancing human-wildlife conflict mitigation strategies, including early warning systems and rapid response teams. While India's tiger recovery is an extraordinary achievement, challenges remain. Large tracts of potential tiger habitat spanning 157,000 square kilometers are still devoid of tigers due to the socio-political instability and habitat degradation, it said. At last, there's a famous personality of India whose full name was Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, and his full name was actually Abul Kalam Ghulam Muhyiddin. Was born on 11 November 1888 up to 22 February 1958, was an Indian politician, writer and activist of the Indian independence movement. As senior leader of the Indian National Congress following India's independence, he became the first Minister of Education in the Indian government. He commonly remembered as the Maulana Azad. The word Maulana is an honorific, meaning our master, and he had adopted Azad Free as his pen name. His contribution to establishing the Education Foundation in India is recognized by celebrating his birthday as National Education Day across India. As a young man, Azad composed poetry in Urdu as well as treatises on religion and philosophy. He rose to prominence through his work as a journalist, publishing works critical of the British Raj and espousing the cause of the Indian nationalism. Azad became the leader of the Khilafat movement, during which he came into the close contact with the Indian leader of the Mahatma Gandhi. After the failure of the Khilafat movement, he became closer to the Congress. Azad became an enthusiastic supporter of the Gandhi's ideas of non-violent civil disobedience and worked to organize the non-cooperation movement to protest of 1919 Rowlatt Acts. Azad committed himself to Gandhi's ideals, including promoting Swadeshi indigenous products and the cause of the Swaraj self-rule. for India. In 1923, at the age of 35, he became the youngest person to serve as the president of the Indian National Congress. Azad was one of the main organizers of the Darasana Satyagraha in 1931 and emerged as one of the most important national leaders of the time, prominently leading the causes of Hindu-Muslim unity as well as espousing secularism and socialism. He served as the Congress president from 1940 to 1945, during which the Quit India Rebellion was launched. Azad was imprisoned together with the entire Congress leadership. He also worked for Hindu-Muslim unity through the Al Hilal newspaper. Maulana Azad says a very famous quotation. He says that we must not for a moment forget it is a birthright of every individual to receive at least the basic education, without which he cannot fully discharge his duties as a citizen. Okay, thank you.